Are you wondering why it seems that there's so many people doing so much better than you are in real estate investing? I mean, every time you go onto Facebook, Instagram, there's people that are just making more money than you, or getting more deals than you, or just doing overall better. Well, I'm here to show you how it is that you're going to be able to beat your competition, regardless of how small or how far behind you are. I'm going to share with you 3 powerful tips to make sure you can kick your competition's ass. And in this video, you will have the plan and the strategy to be able to execute it to make sure you get total domination. All of that and much more coming up. My name is John Barbera with An Investor's Journey, and we are here to share with you real tips, real strategies, and real lessons learned as we grow and build our real estate investment business. All of this to help you invest in real estate the right way. So make sure you subscribe. I'm asking you now, have you subscribed? Have you been watching our content and not subscribed? Make sure you subscribe. So here are the 3 powerful tips that are going to secure your dominance in this industry. And make sure you stick around to tip number 3, because without that, nothing you do moving forward is going to matter. Without tip number 3, you are just not going to go anywhere. You might as well just go get a job. So stick around. Tip number 1, mind your business. All right? There are 7 things I want you to keep in mind in this one tip. First thing to keep in mind, why am I paying attention to what other people are doing? All right? I want you to really sit down and ask yourself this. Why are you watching what other people are doing, their other people's successes? What is it about that keeps you engaged with them? Why are you focused on that? You need to really ask this question. Why do you care what other people are doing? Because this tells a lot about you, right? This tells you how you are just being controlled in a sense by what other people think. You want to see what is it that other people are doing and how cool they are and all that. And then you become self-conscious about, well, I'm not doing as much. I'm not crushing it, killing it. I don't have, the fancy office or maybe the really cool car or all the nonsense that they're posting. So you got to ask, why do you care? Second thing you want to keep in mind, you do not know their truth. What do I mean by this? You don't know how much they've been working. You don't know if they're working. You don't know if they have a team, they don't have a team. You don't know how long they've been actually at this. You don't know their truth. So you're over here judging or thinking, man, they're just killing it or all this, but you just don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So it makes it very hard for you to have an accurate judgment on somebody or somebody's success or lack of success when you don't know what is happening behind the scenes. So if you don't know, stop judging and stop watching. Number 3, remember, we put out our own PR. We are our own PR agency. All right? We control what we put out about ourselves. So keep that in mind. When you are seeing somebody on Facebook, on Instagram, somewhere like that, and they seem to be crushing it, they have great cars and all of that, think about it. These people posed in front of this. These people prepared the shot. They prepared the video. Like a lot of the stuff, even when it seems like it's raw, it's really not raw. Everybody thinks through, what are they going to say? How's it going to look? How's the background look? You know what I mean? Oh, but their hair was a mess. It was intentional that their hair was a mess. There's a lot of times that I film and my hair is just all over the place. You understand? But what is the intention? You just don't know that. You understand? We only see all the good. We don't see the bad. We don't see how many deals maybe went south for them. We don't see how much money maybe they've been losing. We don't see what it is. And I'm not wishing them bad. What I'm saying is, again, picking up on tip number 2, you just don't know their truth. Right? All you're judging is what you're seeing. So again, don't judge what you see, because they only can put out what they want. They control what they put out. Number 4, kind of piggybacking on number 3, you need to focus on what it is that you're doing right now. You need to Focus on what is it that you're trying to build. What is it that's the next step for you, right? Not what it is that they are doing, not what it is that they want to be doing, or the stuff they're showing or any of that. You need to focus on what it is that you are doing to take your business to the next level. Stop worrying about what somebody is doing or not doing, because all you are achieving is they are living rent free in your mind. And that is a waste of space in your mind. What you should have in your mind are things that are only going to benefit you and grow your business. You should not be letting somebody else live rent free in your mind. So focus on your business. Number 5, very important. Do not compare your beginning to somebody else's middle, right? You just don't know how long they've been doing this. I've said it, and it's kind of, these points are somewhat repetitive, but they're building on each other, because you don't know, again, what is it that they've been going through? How long have they been at it? How much work they put in? Maybe you're judging this person, but maybe this person is putting in, 20, 30, 40 more hours than you are a week. You don't know. And that's probably why they're doing much better than you. You understand? But that's not something that you should care about. What you should care about is where you are today. What is it that you are doing today? Do not compare yourself to other people. That takes you absolutely nowhere. What you want to do, which is tip number 6, is compare yourself to who you were yesterday. That is the only comparison you should ever do, is who were you yesterday? And always work to be better than that person. Always become a better person than you were the day before. All right? Become a better version of yourself every single day. And tip number 7 is just work on becoming 1% better every single day, because that 1% is going to compound. All right? If every day you're working to become 1% better, you're going to keep growing and growing and growing. And eventually you're going to have such a successful business, such an amazing business. But to wrap all of these tips up, you need to figure out, what does that success look like for you? Just because other people are posting, that they're on the beach, or they went on vacation, or they got a new car, or whatever, is that really your definition of success? Because that's probably their definition of success, is doing all those things. But is that yours? You know how many people I've come across that tell me, but these people are killing it and they have this. And I'm like, is that what you want? You want to have that? No, I don't really care for that. So then what does it matter? That's what they want. Figure out what you want. Figure out what your definition of success is, and stick to that. Don't worry about what other people's definition is. I don't care about having my fancy cars or anything right now. I do love cars, but my definition of success is to have a business that's scalable, that grows, that can run on its own when it needs to. That's my definition of success. That does not mean that they are wrong or that you are wrong. That is my definition. Therefore, I don't compare myself to anybody else or anybody else's success, because their success is not my success, and vice versa. Figure out what yours is. And I mean, let's be honest. This is just you and me talking now. How many times do you see these clowns, taking a picture in front of a Lamborghini or a Rolls Royce, and they're going to 10x, right? And they're like, oh yeah, 10x, and I'm so cool, and hashtag blessed. These people are more broke than anybody else. They're living on borrowed money all the time. But you keep judging yourself by that. Stop doing that. Don't worry. If you want to go broke just to appear to have money, you're an idiot. You understand? Like that's not taking you absolutely anywhere. That's not giving you any benefits. That's not giving you anything of any substance. Be true to you. Don't do it for other people. Don't do it for the likes. Don't do it for the glamour. Do it for you. That is the only thing that's going to bring you joy and real success in this life. If you're finding this training helpful, make sure you subscribe and give us a like. Tip number 2, study your competition. I know, you're probably like, but what? You just said stop paying attention to the competition. Now you want me to study the competition. Make up your damn mind. Understand this. Being obsessed by what your competition is doing is not helping you. But paying attention and learning, being observant of what your competition is doing is different, because you're not taking what they're doing personal. You're not taking it as, oh, they're killing it, they're doing so much better, what the hell? No, you're taking it more as a curious approach. And I mean, let's be honest, right? Let's face the facts. Maybe they just are better than you right now. You understand? That's fine. That is fine, because we go back to what I said before. Don't compare your beginning to somebody's middle. That being said, it does not mean that you cannot learn from your competition. You need to get the ego out of the way, where a lot of people, they get into business and somebody says, "Oh, have you seen this person? He's really killing it." And the first reaction you have is, "Screw that guy. What does he know? He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know shit about real estate. He's a scammer. He's screwing this person, screwing that person. He's lying. He's stealing." You just saying all this nasty stuff. They're just full of shit. They're full of crap. But the truth is, they're still getting it done. They're still making money where you're not. They're still having the success that you are not having. So instead of being defensive and letting your ego do the talking for you and do the thinking for you, try to be a little more strategic. All right. If a lot of people right now, a lot of people are doing what we are doing. They're putting out content, they're putting out information, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever it is, there's a lot of people right now putting out information, even your competitors. So if they are really killing it and they're putting out information, consume that information. All right. Don't let your ego get in the way. Learn. There's a lot of times that they're going to give some tips that maybe you weren't aware of. Maybe that is why they're winning. You just don't know. But you got to learn from your competition. You got to learn and take what works. All right. One thing that I pride myself a lot in is I learn from everybody. I'm always paying attention to what people are doing. I don't have an ego. I sign up to so many people's different newsletters and little capture forms and whatever the hell they have, because I'm paying attention. I'm like, what is it that he's doing? What is it that she's doing? They have a podcast. All right, I'll check it out. Check out a few episodes. What are they talking about? Every now and then I'll go back on. Have they changed anything? Are they going? There's a lot of people that are in my industry that I consider them to be full of shit, right? And a lot of their stuff is full of shit. It's just the fluff. They're always selling the fluff. Look at this check, $100,000. Look at this one, $50,000. Woohoo! It's like, what the hell does any of that matter? What are the checks that you're making mean anything to anybody? You understand? All you're doing is just fluffing your ego. What matters more to me is, hey, look at this check of $100,000. This is how we made it. We went to this house. We got it on this list. We negotiated this way. We took that down. We wholesaled it. We flipped it. We did this, right? That's what matters. That's what I pay attention to. Not just people flaunting things. I mean, for all I know, it could be a fake check. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's not that hard to print out fake checks and make them look very real, right? At least for the camera. I mean, it's not difficult. What I'm saying is try to learn from people. Try not how to write fake checks. Try to learn what is it that's working for them. What is it that they are implementing, they are doing that is working that maybe you didn't realize. The object here is to learn from your competition. And the goal is to find out what is working in your market. It's obviously 10 times better if your competition is in your local market. Don't learn from somebody, if I'm in San Antonio, that lives in Seattle or Arizona or Colorado. Because sometimes maybe they're like, oh, I'm killing it in foreclosures. And foreclosures aren't doing anything in San Antonio. Doesn't really help me. But now if they're talking about a unique strategy that I never thought about, I'll pay attention. So learn from your competition. Finally, tip number 3, the most important tip, that without this, you can have the secrets of the universe and it won't mean a damn thing. So tip number 3 is take action. This is so important, and I'm going to cover some important points here when it comes time to taking action. And I want to share with you guys, actually, is this quote that I just love ever since I heard it. I love it. And I'm actually thinking of getting a poster made with this exact quote. But here it is. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. All right? Let that sink in a little bit. That quote itself, I don't know who said it. I just have no idea. But that quote is so important because it's so true. You understand? You can have people that are naturally gifted at something, but if they don't put in the work, you can beat them. How many times have we seen it in sports when you have the best player and yet they get destroyed by somebody more inferior than they are? And it's not because that person doesn't have the innate skills, because the other one has been working that much harder to beat them. And when people stand still, which a lot of people at the top do, there's a lot of people that when they start getting success, they start slowing down. They start, hitting the pause button, trying to fall back a little bit. And maybe they reach their definition of success, which is fine. But this is a time when you can start beating your competition. This is a time when you catapult above everybody else because you're working that much harder than everybody else. People are always saying, work smarter, not harder. No, do both. Work smarter and harder. You understand? Because first of all, you shouldn't work hard and stupid. Like, I don't understand the quote. It's like, well, if you work hard, then you're stupid. But if you don't work hard, then you're smart. I don't understand that. All right. Somebody should explain that whole premise to me of that saying. But to me, like I said, I work hard and I work smart. That's why I'm always moving that much faster and further than most people. And there's people that they're like, man, you guys are killing it. Man, you guys are crushing it. You're lucky. I'm like, lucky? I don't stop. You understand? Like, I don't take weekends off. And I'm not bragging about it. It's just that my definition of success is something that I need to keep working towards. You understand? I haven't hit what my definition of success is. So I'm still working, and I work at all times. You understand? And when there's family time, I spend time with the family. When the family time's over, I get back to work. You understand? That's just how I am. That's why I always say there's nobody out there that's going to beat me, because there's nobody out there that's going to outwork me. Maybe a challenge for you. So, some things to keep in mind. The best haven't become the best by luck. All right? You have everybody from Brady to Michael Jordan to Tiger Woods to Michael Phelps to Messi. I mean, these are not people that got to the top by being lucky. These are people that, yes, some of them were born with a very natural skill at the sport. But when you look at them, their teammates, their coach, their family all say the same thing. Kobe Bryant. I mean, everybody says the same thing. These people don't stop. They can win a championship and next week they're back at it. They're looking at tape. They're exercising. They're working out. They're working their muscles. They're looking at new strategies. They're working with new coaches. They're working on themselves, their mentality, everything, technique. They never stop working. They never stop learning. They never stop becoming better. That's why they're the best. You understand? That's why these people, these names, doesn't matter where you go, you say it and people know who they are. And it's not because they're lucky. When you look at it, they outwork everybody. They even outwork their own team members. The biggest key is that you cannot hesitate. You cannot hesitate to take action. You understand? Like, you have to focus and you have to be able to pay attention and you have to be able to just take the risk. So many people are always waiting to be perfect, always waiting for that, when I know this, when I learn this, when I learn that, then I'm going to be able to take action. No, done is better than perfect. Just get at it. Get it done. As you do it, you're going to learn, and then you make tweaks. Then you become 1% better. You understand? But you have to take action. You have to stop hesitating. And you can click on this card up here where I talked about how can you get yourself a mentor for free. Why? Because when you get a mentor, a local mentor, you're going to be able to not hesitate, because then if anything comes about, that's what the mentor is there for. They're going to be able to hit you up. You're going to be able to call them. You're going to be able to ask them, hey, I have this problem. I have this meeting. I have this house. I have this deal. And they're going to walk you through. There's no reason to hesitate on this. You have to take action. You understand? And then one of the big things you need to do as a real estate investor and as any type of professional is you need to become a ferocious learner. All right? You have to become a ferocious student of your trade. And this means always learning everything there is to learn about your trade. I am always, these books that you see here behind me, this is just a little bit. I have another bookshelf in my office next door. I have another one at home. I'm always learning. I have courses. I have podcasts of real estate investors. I subscribe to YouTube channels of real estate investors. I'm always learning business, real estate, marketing, branding, whatever it is. All of this stuff that I'm doing right now, the YouTube, the videos, the editing, all of those things, I taught myself how to do. Nobody's done it for me. I wasn't, spending money hiring editors or any of that. I did all of this stuff myself. Everything you've seen, I've done it myself. The website, the newsletter, everything is homemade. But because I'm a ferocious learner, I want to learn, I want to grow. And that actually reminds me of this other tip that was really good by Morgan Freeman, that he says, I'm always trying new things and learning new things. If there isn't anything more you can learn, go off and die. I mean, I love that. Because I'm kind of that person. I'm an all or nothing kind of person. I'm the person that subscribes to the mentality that if you want to take the island, you burn the ships. There's no plan B, no plan C. It's only plan A. Execute it to the fullest. You understand? That is how I live, how I implement my life and my business. And that's probably why we are where we are. That's probably why we've had the success that we've had, is because neither of us have a plan B. It's either we succeed or we succeed. There's no fail. Fail is when you give up. We're not giving up. We're not going to fail. So you have to understand, you have to take action. If you don't start, if you don't take action, if you don't do anything, you're never going to do anything. You're never going to get anywhere. Things are not going to magically come to you. Take action, get it done. With that being said, click right here as we have a full series on how to do wholesaling step by step. We cover everything there is to do in wholesaling. And then click right here if you want more training from us. And like I said before, if you're gaining value, subscribe and share with a friend as we put in a lot of work on these videos. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.